Greetings and welcome to Careful Conversations at the Kitchen Table. My name is Jane Barton and I serve as the Caregiving Ambassador for AARP Colorado, the sponsor of this program. Thanks for joining me today to chat about the journey of caregiving from the inside out. Today I want to talk about what it feels like to be called to care. I'm sure I'm like many of you watching this video today. I am by nature, nurture, and necessity a caregiver. And through those times, I learned so much in the process about myself and certainly about the world. And although I wouldn't have done anything else but care for my loved ones when called, I have to be honest, it was not necessarily easy or pleasant. In fact, those were oftentimes some of the most difficult journeys of my life. Now, the key to the experience of being a caregiver, I think, is how we feel about being called to care, and how we were enlisted to be a caregiver. Do we feel like we had an option? Did we choose to do this? Or are we a caregiver by default? Now in 1992, I received a call that apprised me of the fact that my father had a stroke. Now I had not planned for that particular situation in that year, and it totally detoured me, it derailed my plans for the year. And I'm not proud to say initially I was frustrated, I was resentful. And then I recognized that a lot of that was rooted in my fear and my angst, and also my sorrow at what we had lost in that particular episode with my dad. And so that journey was very difficult for me because I was trying to balance the responsibilities of caring for my father with maybe some opportunities that I could learn in this process of caring. Now, I am a strong believer that in this journey of caregiving, there are burdens and there are blessings. But when we are knee-deep in the trenches of caregiving, oftentimes it's very difficult to recognize the blessings and to keep that needed balance. In fact, sometimes we don't even see the blessings until many years afterwards. So I think when we are called to care, we have to be realistic about this journey. And it's not to be despairing, it's not to be overly negative, but it's to recognize what we're getting into. When we are called to care, it requires a tremendous amount of courage. It certainly requires a commitment to show up and to care for our loved ones. And it requires conviction that we are where we are called to be, doing what we are called to do. In fact, caring, it requires all we have to give some days. Mind, body, and spirit. And because of that, we need to have realistic expectations of ourselves and for those that we're caring for, and perhaps other family members that are involved in that journey. We have to remember that caring is not about perfection. As a caregiver, I was never perfect. And the people that I cared for, they were never perfect. But knowing that, having that realistic expectation, I could be gentle with myself as well as those I cared for, and we could continue the journey together. Caring for another person, a family member or a friend, I think is one of the highest callings in this lifetime. And yes, it can be challenging, to say the very least. But ultimately, for me, caring is a sacred journey that can open our hearts and minds to the essence of the lived experience. Truly a blessing indeed. So I appreciate you coming by today, sitting at the kitchen table for a little bit with me. If you need additional information about any aspect of caregiving, be sure to check out the AARP Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Or you can check out my website at cardinallife.com to discover upcoming caregiving programs in your area. Take good care, and I look forward to continuing careful conversations at the kitchen table with you in the very near future.